Ukraine again had a really good night. Last night, lots of drones went out from Ukraine and did some damage. Let's look at what happened. So this is a map of Ukrainian drones leaving. This is drone bomber leaving from Ukraine into Russia, and we're going to see just what they did. According to Krasnodar Krai's operational headquarters, debris from a UAV strike on Tuapse damaged an oil tanker. Okay, it wasn't debris, it was the drones themselves. Debris, like they say this like they shot everything down and then, hey, accidents happen. And it wasn't just an oil tanker setting part of it on fire and forcing crew evacuation. The oil terminal also sustained damage along with nearby infrastructure, including shattered windows at the railway station. Okay. Here's the actual quote from the Russian local officials. Drone debris fell on an oil tanker in the port of Tuapse. The deck superstructure was damaged. The tanker's crew was evacuated. A fire broke out on the vessel. Terminal buildings and infrastructure were also damaged. Like by actual drones that went into them. Okay, so the strike against Russian oil terminal in Tuapse has not only damaged port infrastructure, but also at least 2 oil tankers belonging to Russia's Shadow Fleet. This was a good hit. The message is clear. If you're an oiler trying to get Russian oil, then you better ask for danger pay. Okay, Tuapse, by the way, is down here, and here's an image, if we scroll in, of what was actually on fire last night. 2 possible candidates based on the Russian release spotted on the AIS through marine traffic at Tuapse in the last 12 hours are the tankers Pollux and Chai. That's what seems to be confirmed by multiple sources, Pollux and Chai. Again, here's another image of this. Here's some other images to confirm what's going on there. Firms data confirms, NASA firms data confirms emergence of the fires emerged at the Tuapse port after Ukrainian drone strikes. 2 ships were damaged as a result of the attacks. Then we had some other things that were happening. 5 rail cars carrying petroleum products derailed on 1 November in Murmansk Oblast, northwestern Russia. Officials said no spills or injuries were recorded. They also say the drone debris is causing these fires, so I'm not sure what to believe exactly, but okay, it's still a headache. And I don't believe that it was caused by the Ukrainians. It could just be an accident, but it's still a headache. Then we see this Russian tugboat at the port of Kavkaz in the Kerch Strait is reportedly on fire. The cause of the fire has not been disclosed. I would speculate that I know the proximal cause of it or the ultimate cause of it, but again, it could just be an accident, and that's fair. Okay. Occupied Luhansk came under heavy Ukrainian drone strikes. Preliminary reports say a power substation was hit. So they're going after oil. They're going after refineries. They're going after oil tankers. They're going after power substations. Russian installed LNR head confirmed a massive drone attack on energy infrastructure in occupied Luhansk. He said that substations were hit in 4 so-called municipalities. So there were lots of hits last night. And then on top of that, we see this. Unmanned Systems Forces Commander Magyar reports that drones struck 5 out of 8 of their targets in substations overnight. These strikes are part of ongoing deep penetration attacks on Russian energy, not just in occupied Luhansk. So you just start adding these up, and these are like north of a dozen things being hit. For those playing at home, Blackout Moscow Bingo continues into its 3rd week, with Ukraine's overnight strikes slamming key electrical substations that keep Muscovites in relative modernity. So here's a list of them and the kilovolts of the power stations. And here we see, this is Moscow. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. They're just starting to ring around Moscow. And again, the new doctrine is if you're going to hit our power stations, we're going to hit your power stations. And the power stations that they chose to hit are just Moscow's. They're hitting other places as targets of opportunity, but they're particularly going after Moscow's. It's a very interesting shift to watch. Okay, what did Russia do to Ukraine last night? Russia launched 79 attack drones and 2 Iskander and ballistic missiles. Ukraine jammed or downed 67 of those 79. So that's a reasonably good ratio. Nevertheless, in Dnipropetrovsk region, two children, age 11 and 14, and two women were killed last night. Russian attack in Odessa last night killed two and injured three people, and in Zaporizhia, two people were injured. And we see some of the damage as a effect of these strikes. Stopping these ballistic missiles is just it's insane. They just have a hard time doing it with the technology that they have in all the places that the Russians are attacking. There's no electricity as Russian attacks, but in Kyiv, gymnasts are still training. Yeah, like that's pretty hardcore. You can see the body outlines as they're trying to do what they're doing. And then, most people don't think a lot about lunch ladies. Lunch ladies are preparing their meals by battery flashlights early in the morning. Like the stove still works because of gas, but yeah, they're preparing their meals for the students at the schools by flashlight. That's something. Okay, on the battlefield, 940 Russians off the battlefield. That's about right. 4 APVs, no tanks, 25 artillery systems, and 121 vehicles and fuel tanks. So, yeah, it's about where it should be. The Pokrovsk direction is hot. Pokrovsk direction, Sursky and Budanov are both there. That's a signal itself that they are really paying attention to what's going on at Pokrovsk. Chuck Farrer is talking about here the situation. He's a former U.S. Not Green Beret, a SEAL, I believe. Situation in Pokrovsk is now assessed as critical. Heavy Russian artillery strikes ongoing as scattered contacts continue north of the M30 highway axis. And what Russia's been trying to do is cut off the roads. And if they can cut off the roads and then fly drone cover, it's going to be supplies can't get in, and then drones are going to be much more easily pick off Ukrainians who have to get out when they have to get out. Ukrainian military authorities have insisted, however, that their forces are holding out in the frontline eastern town of Pokrovsk, while Russian and Ukrainian forces launched missile and drone attacks at various locations overnight. So it's a hard fight. It's not over yet, but it's not looking great. Nevertheless, Sursky says we continue to liberate and clear territory within the Dobropilia salient. Pokrovsk we hold, Mirgorod we hold. So, okay, I mean, for now, that's true. This is just the new version of a cope cage on a tank. It's they have like bristles that are metal, and that's apparently given some kind of protection, and it's taking drones a lot more time and effort to knock something like that out. Here are strikes by Ukrainian FP-2 kamikaze drones with a 105 kilogram warhead. That's what the blast looks like. And there's the as they're going to find it. And yeah, so again, drones are big. Here's drones just knocking out tanks. 2 drones following 1 tank that doesn't have that kind of protection, and it's going to be bad for them. You can see where the drone, let me pause it right where the drone is. Here's the one drone right on top. Let me move this back and forth. One coming right on in as the other is right behind it, right? That's because it doesn't have that protection. Here's a guy who thinks he has protection. He's wearing a pot on his head. He's going to put this on his head in order to not be seen by the drones or be protected by the drones or from the drones or whatever. I'm not sure that strategy is going to work out so well for him. Okay. And then we see this Russian government plan to alleviate widespread power outages in Belgorod. Belgorod got hit hard yesterday in the process, right? I mean, we can't even get into that. You saw where the drones were going out, first over Belgorod and then into other places. So the outages in Belgorod, by purchasing millions in generators, has come apart. Why did this plan come apart? Well, Russians are vandalizing. They're stealing and cutting the cables. Well, don't they want the power? Yeah, but they want the cables more because the cables benefit them. The power, benefits everyone. The regional government is now demanding that wooden structures filled with sand be placed around electrical substations to protect from drones, as cement is too expensive. So they're not getting good protection, and the locals are vandalizing, and it's a pretty bad scene all the way around. Okay. A couple more things and we're done. By the way, Ryan Clear, my undergraduate YouTube student, yeah, thank YouTube member. Thank you very much for your support. And here we are in Russia. I showed you the box of this, but this is what kids are going to get to play with. They get to play with Shahed drones in a box so that they can, pretend that they're killing Ukrainians, I guess. I mean, and it has a little firecracker on the front of it so it can look like there's an explosion. And that's what they're doing in Russia. How about that? And then we'll end with this. Clocks in the USA right now as I'm speaking. I got an extra hour of sleep. Clocks in the USA go back an hour, so we're on standard time again. Clocks in Russia already went back to 1937. All right. Thank you, my friends, for your time. Thank you for the likes and the shares and the subscribes. And thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.